Welcome to everyone. This is Alfresco Tech Talk Live 173. Let's start with some news from the community. Then we will be exploring the Alfresco community ecosystem and all the different resources you have. Today, Antoine is not leading this session, but he's okay, so he will be back on the next one. So I will be also hosting this introduction and also the time after the presentation where you can just deliver your questions, and I will try to answer all of them. Uh, just use the Q&A panel or even the chat for your questions. Everyone is able to hear me right? It's only, let's say, Valier, the one having problems with the sound. Anyone can verify if that is working? Okay. Okay. So likely this is only a problem. This will be recorded, right? So you will find the recording later in Alfresco Connect as usual, or try just to reconnect, just to see if that fixed the problem. Okay, so let's move on to this presentation. And the first is some status update for the Cloud Content Repository. As you know, this is the new open source platform that will be released next year, and that has been promoted by John Newton. We are working on that. Remember that that is coming from an existing project. So we need to adapt the infrastructure to create this open source platform. So the first is it has been to define the final open source architecture and to define how to decouple all the dependencies within the existing platform, just to be that's just to be able to deploy that everything on premise and without any external service. So this is done. We are also working in contributor guidelines, the code of conduct and security policy. So this will be an open source project by all means, right? So we are also working in all these this part. We are also selecting the license. We are considering Apache 2.0 and some others, so we are still talking about this. And we are starting also to isolate all these enterprise-specific code, mainly linked with AWS, just to replace that by other open source tools. So the next steps is to complete all the decoupling action from let's say proprietary services, just to provide everything with open source services or projects, and then to finalize this license selection, and from that to build all the contribution ecosystem around that. So this is related to the status of the Cloud Content Repository. And then some other news. So you have the Alfresco MCP server with authentication available. This is hosting the Alfresco Labs. I guess that the link is wrong. Sorry for that. So it's in the Alfresco Labs, and it includes authentication by using the ticket. We will be providing later authentication based in OAuth too, but by now it includes authentication by using this ticket. We are also starting with the registration in the Docker MCP registry. So Docker is hosting registry for all the different MCP servers, and you need to register your MCP in this service. So we are starting the step for that. We have the pull request, and it's been reviewed, I guess, I hope. So it will be as soon as possible available for you just to use with Docker MCP Alfresco, and it's done. In addition, you have a project on how to use this E2B service that will be also connected with the Alfresco MCP. So you will be able to run the Alfresco MCP by using this E2B environment. So you can also test this configuration. You have also the blog post related with E2B and Docker on the Connect blog post section, and another blog post related to the new release of ACA and ADW 7.20 that is not fully available yet, but it will be in the next days. And the news is that this version is able not only to work with ACS 25.x, but also with 23.x. So this version will be able to work with one previous version of the repository. So you don't need to upgrade the repository in order to use this new version of ACA or ADW. This time for the community projects, I would like to share with you some different projects from many different parts in the globe. So we have a project from Germany, another one from Serbia, from France, from our friends in Brazil, Ambiente Libre, and also finally something from Spain. So they are in the original language, but you know, code is mainly always understandable, even despite of the language. So just take a look at these projects because many of them are really relevant. This is we are always talking about this, but this time is mainly for you. So you have something to share, just please reach us and don't be shy. We can help you to prepare the session, but we want to hear you. So if you have something to share, just contact with us and we can just help you with the session, help you with the promotion and with all the other stuff. But again, this is your time and we want you to be on stage. And finally, today, we are going to explore the Alfresco community ecosystem. So we are this is a recap on all the different resources you have as developers and also as customers. And likely I'm missing something. So if I'm missing something, just please type that in the comments or just in the Q&A so we can complete all this collection of resources. So let's move on to the topic on exploring Alfresco community ecosystem from add-ons to Discord. We are going to talk about documentation, official and not official documentation, about the source code, the communication channels, and finally about the learning paths. So we move to the first section, that is the one related with documentation. What we have is the official documentation, documentation for the APIs, and documentation for deployment. We are going to see all these details now. And what we have for the official documentation is that the current documentation now lives in support.highland.com. So this is the official documentation provided by Highland in relation to Alfresco. Why to choose this platform? So this is how that looks, right? So this is the new portal and the new tool for Alfresco official documentation. And this is, so the selection is because all the products in the company are using the same platform, this platform. So this platform obviously is not the same as what we have before. So this is, we have changed a bit. But again, it's because all the products in the company are using exactly the same platform. So support.highland.com, and then you can just navigate. You can find, or you can just pick your specific version on. And then again, it's more or less the same we had, but on a different platform. So this is covering all these from all these versions. So you have all the versions in the home page. So for instance, for Alfresco content services, information for 23.3 and later is hosted in this platform. And for previous information, you can go to docs.alfresco.com and then you can find all the information till 5.2. And even if you want just to if you want to access to previous information, then you can always use this github.com alfresco docs alfresco, that is the source of this page. And you can find also this archive this archive folder. And inside the archive folder, you have version still 3.4. So this is all the documentation, all the official documentation that you have. Remember that the latest one will be in support.highland.com. For previous versions, you can use doc.alfresco.com, and even for more previous versions, you can choose this archive from the github.com alfresco docs alfresco. So this is in relation to the official documentation. And then what you also have is the connect block. So in connect.highland.com, you have this Alfresco block, and inside this Alfresco block, in addition to this announcement and so on, you have some announcements. Let me find something. But you have also some technical articles like this one, right? So in this one, we are describing how to use the new Alfresco front-end generators project. So you will find also additional documentation and technical notes in the Alfresco blog. And this is just for you to have the information as soon as possible. So this part will be covered by the official documentation, but it may take a while. So in the meantime, we are providing you like the first touch in this Alfresco blog, and then it will be part also of the official documentation. Okay, what else? So I guess that you know the REST API reference. So for this one, you have a Swagger specification, so you can build your agents. And we have the core, search SQL, authentication, discovery, workflow API, and model API. So you have all the documentation, and then if you just click something, then you have all the details and all the parameters and so on. So this is for the REST API. For the ADF, then we have this web page, and this web page is built by using this GitHub repository. So all the information that is contained in this web page, alfresco.com AVN, that includes all the information for the content service API, process service API, and all the different components and so on. This is built by this repository, by the Alfresco and G2 components, that is Alfresco ADF. So this is the origin of this project, and the information is coming from this source, right? So for ADF, this is the developer documentation that you can follow. So you can access that by using this alfresco.com AVN, or just directly in the Alfresco NG2 components project. And for ACA, you have more or less the same configuration. So we have a public web page that is coming from a GitHub project. So this is the public web page. And then on the Alfresco Content App repository, we have also the documentation. Okay. And also this one is linking to this order. So for ADF and for ACA is the Alfresco Content App that is relying on ADF. So all the documentation for developers is mainly available in the project itself. So we have a docs folder on the Alfresco Content App and also a docs folder in the Alfresco ADF project. So just, and as this is a GitHub repository, you can contribute to documentation. So there is something wrong, you can raise a peer or an issue, and we will try to include your comments to the documentation. Perfect. Let's move to the next one. So for all the other APIs reference, like the APIs for repositories, share, and Angular, and also for the integration APIs, for REST, for messages, and for CMIS, we have a specific version inside the support.highland.com. So note that this section is only in the enterprise version of the product, but it applies to both, to community and to enterprise. So whatever you find in this section, it's also something that you can apply to the community version. And then we have how to extend by using modules, so how to create jar or amps, the extension inspector that is able to evaluate your extensions, some extension points overview, so all the different parts of the repository that you can extend. The auto process extension points is this Java SDK that is able to deal with the REST API or with the messages in order to react to these events. The in-process platform extension that is the legacy Maven SDK, just to build extensions that deploy as a jar or a file. How to extend share, mainly with SARF and with ICAO. Some other useful tools and the REST API guide. And I guess that there is also CMIS at some point. Okay, so in reference, we have also the Java Foundation API, the CMIS API, web scripts, SARF, and also a reference of the JavaScript root object. So all the APIs now are included inside this develop section of the support.highland.com webpage. Okay, if we move to the next one, then we have all the deployment documentation. So despite that is covered by the official documentation, you will find more detailed or developer documentation available in the projects themselves. So it's the same structure. So we have a public web page, and then the origin is in the project itself. So for the Helm charts, we have this public web page that is built inside this docs folder. So the information in this web page is coming from the Alfresco Helm charts and this docs folder. And what you can find is all the charts reference to deploy Alfresco in Kubernetes and some guides on how to deploy Alfresco search, Alfresco transform, the knowledge retrieval, and so on, and even some additional information to build your own charts. So when you are dealing with Kubernetes or Helm, this is the best documentation you may find. The same thing for Ansible. So we have the public page for Ansible, and also this is the documentation. Okay, again, the documents are written inside this folder, and this is the public web page. And again, you have all the overview with all the compatibility and so on, deployment guide, how to deploy, for instance, Alfresco Search Services, how to deal with secrets, with security, with upgrades, and so on. So all the detailed information in relation to Ansible can be found at this point. And finally, for a containerized deployment, The information is on the ACS deployment project, github.com/alfresco/ACS deployment. And in this docs folder, then you have this information with all the supported versions. And in this case, you have also a reference to deploy that in Docker Compose. So if I find this, okay, then you have all the different services and the interrelation between them, and some additional information on how to deal with the configuration and so on. And even in this project, what you have is a reference Docker Compose that you may use. It's a very simple Docker Compose that you may use for your deployment. Okay. So you want to deploy with containers like this. This is the documentation that you need to use. Okay, and I guess that was all. So this is all the documentation. So it may you may think that is complicated, but it's not that much, right? So we have the official documentation for the latest versions in the new site support.highland.com, for previous versions in docs.alfresco.com, and then specific announcements and new features on the Highland blog. For the APIs, you have mainly all the information in support.highland.com and some specific pages for ADF and for ACA. And for the deployment, then you have also the information in support.highland.com, but also specific information in the GitHub projects. So it's a mix of the official platforms and the GitHub projects, including this docs folder for the specific documentation. Okay, if we move to the source code, then in this section, we are going to talk about the pure source code for community, where the binaries are stored and available, where the released are also communicated, and how to understand where the binaries are coming from a single release, as we have many different services, and also deployment artifacts. For the deployment, likely at some point we need some Docker assets or some other assets. So we have also some tools for this deployment task and some projects that are related to deployment. So let's start with the source code. Mainly, we are working with two main accounts in GitHub. So the first one is github.com/alfresco. This is the main project for Alfresco. You will find a lot of projects inside. And we are maintaining all these projects, and we are just developing the product based on these projects. And then we have the Alfresco Labs, GitHub organization. So this one is not maintained, it's mainly for experiments. So we are just evaluating stuff or just testing something. So you can use the project, but we are not commit to maintain the project. If the project is interesting, obviously, we can always promote a project from the Alfresco Labs to the Alfresco account. But this is the main difference between both accounts. And then I have it's not my personal account. In fact, it's my Alfresco Highland account, where you can find also some samples and some projects on it. But mainly Alfresco, that is the official, the maintained projects, Alfresco Labs with some experiments and beta projects, and then my personal account as developer evangelist, where you can find also some samples and some code just to test something. Obviously, there is something also in my GitHub account that in the end is useful for the community. We can promote that also to Alfresco or to the Alfresco Labs. So for instance, the Alfresco Docker installer started as a personal project and now is hosted in the Alfresco account. So if we find something useful, then we can promote that to the Alfresco account. Okay, so this is all the source code for the community artifacts. If you are enterprise users, then you would like to get your or the source code for a project that is enterprise. So this is not provided via GitHub, but via Nexus. So we have this nexus.alfresco.com that, in addition to provide all the artifacts, all the jar files, let's say, for the product, is also providing the source code. So just let me log in. Okay, yes, let me do it. Okay, it's not working. Okay, it looks like it may work. So you need credentials. So this is why I'm doing this, right? So you need credentials in order to access to these artifacts. But in the end, okay, so for any of them, let's find someone like the, I don't know. So the Alfresco Elasticsearch live indexing, let's say, for version 4.1. Okay. So then you have also the source. So you can download the source code for this artifact and also just to play it locally. There is not source code associated to every product. It depends on the license, but for many of them, and for the one built by the Alfresco team, mainly they are all LGPL3 licensed. So for all of them, you can find the sources also for the enterprise versions. But instead of going to the GitHub, then you need to go to nexus.alfresco.com and find this jar file that is including all the source code. Okay, so github.alfresco. Sorry, github.com/alfresco includes a lot of repositories, so there are hundreds of them. So I'm highlighting mainly the main parts so you can understand where to find the source code. So for the repository, the main artifact, the main project is the Alfresco community repo. So inside you will find all the repository and also the REST API and so on. For the transform service, you have the Alfresco Transform Core that it's providing the Alfresco Transform AIO Docker image. For the search service, the search services project. For share, you have Alfresco Community Share project, and there is also an Alfresco Enterprise Share for the enterprise users that have some small differences. And then for the Angular UI, you have the Alfresco NG2 components, that is ADF, the base of ADF, and then the Alfresco content application, that is the application built on top of ADF. So again, this is just a peek of all the different repositories that you can find in the Alfresco GitHub repository. Because again, we have, I don't know, let me check. We have, I don't know, oh, okay, 300 repositories. So this is a lot, right? And in public, 157. So I was just highlighting like the more important, but you can just verify some others. Additional short code that is not related itself with the core product, but with configuration or with development. So the first you have is the Alfresco Maven SDK that we named that as the in-process SDK. This is like the classical SDK that includes, okay, just let me go back to this. Okay, so with this, you can create jar or AMP files to deploy in Alfresco repository or in Alfresco set application. So it's supporting like all the versions. And then you have the Alfresco Java SDK that is the one providing the REST API wrapper and the Event API wrapper. So this is to build out of the repository, and then you can connect with the repository by using the REST API or the ActiveMQ or the messages or the events. So this is the source code for this artifact, and also includes some documentation inside. If we talk about building your Docker files, then you have the Alfresco Docker files bakery. So with these projects, you can build your different Docker files by yourself. So instead of using the Docker image provided by Alfresco, you can build all your stuff by using this project that is using this Baker technology. Okay, so you can also just try including this in your deployment workflow. Then we have the Alfresco frontend generators. So this project is the one replacing the one based in Geoman. So this ADF project based in Geoman. So with this one, you will be able to create modules for or extensions for ACA, ADW, and also for the process application. Okay, so from now you can use this one in order to create your extensions for the Angular UIs. And then we have something like the Alfresco SSL generator that is used to create all the different certificates and key stores that are required to connect mainly, not uniqueness, but mainly Solar with Alfresco and Alfresco with Solar. And you may use also this project to connect the transform services by using mutual TLS and all the other components. So it's a small tool that you can use in order to secure the communication in your services. So this is everything related to source code. So I hope everything is covered. And then when we are building the source code and providing the artifacts, what we have is Nexus. So this is the Maven repository for Alfresco. So inside this project, you have all the Alfresco information, all the Alfresco, artifacts. So in org.alfresco, you will find artifacts for all the different modules. I'm just trying to find something relevant, like this remote API. So for the remote API, you can find the jar file. Okay, so this is the Maven repository. So if you want to get a binary, and these binaries include also the zip distribution files, all of them are stored in this Maven repository. If you want to download enterprise artifacts, then you need credentials. If you are a customer or you are partner, you will have credentials, so you can use these credentials in order to get the information from the Maven repository, including enterprise artifacts. But it's exactly the same thing. If we talk about Docker images, then we have mainly two Docker registries. So the first one is default Docker registry. that is the Docker Hub. So you can find all the Docker, all the Alfresco Docker images with all the tags. You can download that directly from this. And if you want to use enterprise containers, enterprise Docker images, then you need to go to quay.io, and you also need user credentials for that. I'm using credentials, right? So I have also access to this. So for this one, for instance, you have more or less the same, okay? So it depends on your, if you want to use the community releases or the enterprise releases. So you need to switch one of them. So I'm just asking to Kevin because I guess that now is the time for it. So my idea was to review all this information with you, and then we are going obviously to provide the slides, and we are going to create also a blog post in the Alfresco blog, just to be able to maintain everything that is changed with the time. So you can always go to the Alfresco blog and get the latest information. So for this, it's important that if someone is missing something, just please let me know, or just when the blog post is there, you can just update the blog post. So in relation to the binaries, this is mainly what we have. So the Maven repository and the Docker images in Docker Hub or in quay.io. If we talk about information of the releases, we have two different ways of creating that. So the first one is in connect.highland.com. So let me find again. So in connect.highland.com, you have the history of Alfresco versions on the Alfresco blog, and then you have all the list of releases. So for instance, for the latest one, you have all the release notes with the distribution files, Docker Compose, and all the details of the release. And if you want to access to the enterprise, then you need to use community.highland.com. Okay. This also needs authentication. So we are going to talk about this later, but for this part, you need authentication. So you need to be a customer or a partner. And you have this Alfresco release note webpage. And for instance, for the Alfresco content services, you have also the release note with all the details and so on. So for the releases, you can just use connect.highland.com for community or community.highland.com for enterprise. And for the enterprise one, you need credentials. Okay, let's move to the next one. So for the artifacts that we are using for deployment, we already reviewed that, this ACS deployment that includes some Docker Compose and some templates and charts for Kubernetes. And then we have also the playbook for Ansible in this project. So this is like the official way of deploying Alfresco. And then we have a number of additional helpers. So we have the Alfresco Docker installer, mainly oriented for community or evaluation, where you can just create all the Docker assets by just answering some questions. So this is one of the options. Then this is the same, but for enterprise instead for the community version. So the Alfresco Docker installer is only covering the community version, and this one is covering the enterprise version. Then you have also the Alfresco Docker extension. So you can also start Alfresco as an extension. So this is the Alfresco extension that you can find in the marketplace. I guess that is at this point. So you just need to find Alfresco as an extension in the Docker desktop, and then you can just use it and install it. So the source code is also available in this project, and I'm working, and I guess that we will be working also on that, and some installers. It's installing not with Ansible, but from scratch, let's say, every service and every component of the Alfresco platform. So this is a sample project, this is a reference, this is why this is in my personal account and not in the Alfresco lab or in the Alfresco account. But you can also just check if that is worthy just to be upgraded to Alfresco Lab or to Alfresco. And I guess that was everything for the source code. So let's move to the communication channels we have with you. So the first thing is that we have two different websites. So the first is community.highland.com and the connect.highland.com. So the difference between both is that community is mainly oriented to customers, partners, and employees, and it's the common gateway for support, downloads, documentation, training, events, downloads, and so on. So it's public for some resources, but for full access requires Highline ID. So there are some information that is fenced by this Highline ID and mainly oriented to, let's say, customers, okay, or partners. And the second one is Connect, that this is the engagement and collaboration platform. So it's just question and answer with peer-to-peer forums, user groups, blogs, and some kind of networking. So browsing is completely public, and all the many of, I guess that all the Alfresco content is public, so you don't need to use the Highland ID. But if you want to participate in something or to post a new question or to reply a thread, then you need to register with your Highland ID. So this is the main difference, right? So Connect is more oriented to community and community is more oriented to customers. So the name may be misleading, but is what we have, okay? So I guess that many of you already know Connect. So you have Connect and inside, in addition to Nuxeo, you have the Alfresco, and on the Alfresco category we have the forum that is for question and answers, and then we have the blog that includes all these announcements and technical details, and we have also the Alfresco archive. And in the Alfresco archive, we have some all information or some information that is coming from different language group. So today we have only this forum in English, but in the past you can access to this previous information. And for community.highland.com, what you have is on the public space. So you have like a few information, but mainly you have support, resources, events, university, and so on. And if you sign in with your Highland ID, then you have additional information. Yes, let me find something. So for instance, you have access to your support or licensing. You have also additional access to some resources. You have also, this is for everyone, right? University trial events, but on the support section, you have additional information. Okay, so this is the difference between community and Connect. And then we have the Discord channel, the Discord server. So this Discord server is not maintained by Highland as a company. It's a server that is maintained by the Alfresco community from 2018. And I was just including these numbers. So currently there are more than 600 people or members in the server, and usually there are around 60 online. So if you want, you have some doubt and you are not able to deal with the forums and so on, you can always go to the Discord server. You have this link, so you can join the server and you can start the conversation with us. I used to be in the channel, and also some other colleagues are in this channel. So even if the channel is promoted by the Alfresco community, the Highland employees are also collaborating in the channel. Then we have this new beta project that is the add-ons catalog. So this is something that we are just testing. There is a few movement, let's say, inside, but you can find all different add-ons for Alfresco. So you can create your own. So you have an add-on, an extension for Alfresco that you want to share. You just need to fill this form and we'll review that. So your add-on can be part of this list. So we have just the details of the add-on with some additional data and then a link to the download page. So it's quite easy to use, I guess. So there is no secret. By now we have started with the list that was coming from the old add-ons site. So this is what was there, and now you just need to create your own. So I encourage you to use this not only to find add-ons, but also to create your own, right? So let me know if you have some problem with this, but we are evaluating if this is a useful tool for the community. So you have some comment about this, just also let us know so we can fix or improve this tool. And this is also coming from, again, so you have all the source code for the add-ons catalog, and that is coming also from this project. Okay, and finally, what we have also is events.highland.com. So I guess that many of you are using this just to be in touch with the latest Tech Talk Live and so on. So the idea is just to have more events in the web page, and also just to start some local meeting groups if we are able to do that. And we will be also announcing all these events in this platform. So this is like the central spot for all the events around Alfresco, even the one that are organized by Highland itself or some other events around Alfresco. And finally, I have to say that on the collaboration side, we are still working on how to affect issues and pull requests that you are creating in the projects, in the Alfresco projects. So we are aware that this circuit is broken today, but we are working on fixing it. So if this changes in the future, we will inform you about it, right? On the status also that this specific task has in the future. For the learning, I guess that was all for the communication channels, and also obviously you have my email if you want to have me for something. So on the learning, we have some tutorials for ADF. I'm also creating in my account a number of tutorials on different topics. If something is missed, just let me know and I can create additional tutorials and so on. And this is the project that we are starting together with Suresh Yose this year. That is updating the content of the Alfresco Developer Series by the pods. That is something that has been helping many developers through the years. So this is again the same structure. So we have the original project, and this project that is a fork of the original GFPODs project is just exposing this specific format. And the Maven SDK, for instance, is the only we have reviewed by now. So we are adding like the latest information and adding some tools that may be missed and so on. But we still need to review and complete content types, action behaviors, web scripts, workflows, and I guess that we are going also to add something related to iCloud, because this is something that people is still using, or ADF. So we have a space to add additional topics. But by now, what we are doing is just to start fixing all the original material. Okay, and finally, what we have is the Highland University. So inside the Highland University, you can find, yes, let me search. So you have different, you have a lot, like 200 training related to Alfresco. Some of them you need to pay for it. Some of them are free. So you can also get your Alfresco passport, and with that you have a bunch of training available. But even with that, there are some of them that are still free for you, free content for you. So just take a look at this. And you have also the Alfresco certifications. Let me find it. At some point, we have the certifications. Okay. For Alfresco. Okay, so you have the Alfresco Content Service Certified Engineer, the Alfresco Process Service Certified Engineer and Administrator, and you have the preparation, the description, and also the study guide for all open. So this is also your way to prepare the certification for all these different contents. Okay, so I guess that was everything. And I'm going to finish with something that maybe you are missing, and that we are also aware of that, and we are working on it. So the public roadmap. So currently there is not a public roadmap of community. So we need to define this in a more clear way, so you can understand what are the next steps for the platforms. So now the issues are managed mainly by a private Jira, so you don't have access to them. We are also aware of that. We don't have any contribution guideline or code standards that we need also to develop in the future. So the security is partially covered by this article, so you can just take a look at this. And finally, we need some governance in the project. So you can think that as of today, Alfresco is open source by license, but the process is not yet complete. And that's true. That's true, and we know it, but we are working on improving that. Okay, so that was all from my side. And I don't know, you have any question, or if you found something that is missed, just now is your turn for it. So no one, no comments. Okay, so again, the plan is, as you know, this session will be published in the Alfresco blog section, and you will have not only the recording, but also the slides and the links and so on. After that, we are going to compile all this information into a blog post, in the same Alfresco blog space, and we are going to update the content. If we are delivering some task, then we are going to update this status in this blog post. And if you have some additions or comment, some update for the blog post, just reach to us, and we'll be also maintaining the content for it. Okay, so that was everything. Thanks for being there, and see you soon. Bye. Bye, everyone.